good morning to you, and good to have you in the studio once again.
Good morning, Collins. Good morning, Nigeria.
It's a pleasure to have you. We have yet another guest join us on the show today, and our conversation is going to be around solar and the future work, if I'm correct. Absolutely. And would you do the honors to bring us guests on the show?
Sure. So our wonderful guest this morning is Ugochukwu Chukwujiaka. He's the founder and CEO of Energy Talent Company. He's actually been on the show before.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that.
So let's start. We'll just sort of recap who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into it. Welcome and good to have you, Ugochukwu.
Thank you so much. Hi, Collins.
Hi.
Nice to add a real physical space.
Yeah, absolutely. Last time was virtually.
Yeah, it was. Thank you so much. Really excited to be here. My name is Ugochukwu Chukwujiaka. I'm the founder and CEO of Energy Talent Company. And basically what we do is we recruit, train, and place talent, energy talents, more specifically in solar right now, in solar companies. Yeah.
What we know that you're passionate about education, and you have said severally that you are on a mission to find answers to how we can provide an effective and social education for developing nations. Tell us a bit more about that and your journey.
Thank you. So, without overflogging it, this is my life's work, really, trying to answer the question of how we can provide effective and efficient education system. And what that basically means is, it's all well and good to be able to provide education to about 100 or 200 people in a really nice private school where they're paying ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah.
Right. But what happens to the child in Karu in Kaduna, for example?
Yeah.
Right. And what happens to the other child? So the question we're trying to answer here is, how can we, looking at the reality of the Nigerian context and developing nation context, how can we provide access to education that is, one, effective and produces what it says it's supposed to produce, but also far-reaching, right? And where I am right now, and it doesn't, change that much, but where I am right now is, I think the solution lies somewhere in PPP, public-private partnership. I don't think the way education is probably currently set up, and it's not a Nigerian problem only. If you go to the US, you would hear about charter schools and all of that, and all of that has elements of the PPP system. Right. Now, all of that also has like its own challenges, but what I believe, it's sort of the way to get closer to what we all want, which is, effective education that is accessible to anyone and everyone, is a public-private partnership.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I like a couple of buzzwords I heard there, but what piqued my interest is the underserved and unserved, pretty much. So how specifically are you reaching the unreachables, as it were?
So there are a bunch of strategies, and I would maybe talk about what we've adopted at ETC. So one of the things that we're seeing a lot of organizations and even universities across the world trying now is something called an income share agreement. Yeah. And what that basically looks like is, if higher education is supposed to provide people with the skills to gain a job, right? Why don't you tie in, this result, right? Put your money where your mouth is, right? And have people pay you for that education when they've been employed. Right. So what we've done at ETC, Energy Talent Company, is to adopt the income share agreement, right? Where we get people to take the program. And what we do is we work with them to get placed. And as soon as they're placed, they pay us back the cost of that training. So this is one way in which we're saying, regardless of your socioeconomic background, if you have the skills and if you can make it through the stages of the assessment, you're able to get into the program, payment or money would not be an issue why you can't take the program.
Wow, this is quite inspiring. And I remember the last time we talked about this, I was just taken aback, like, wow. And a lot of people called in and say, great stuff you're doing in that regards. I think this would be a good time to ask you about the ETC, that's the Energy Talent Company. How did your company start, once again? And again, touch a bit about what you do. I know you talked about that in the previous question. So tell us.
Yeah, definitely. So like I said, Energy Talent Company, what we basically do is we recruit, train, and house hire or place people, talents in solar companies right now, but our focus is renewable energy. So essentially, it started off with, and there are several buzzwords that I'm going to use that start to education, and some education people might smile. If you're not, I'm really sorry. So it started off with myself and a few partners started a company in Ghana called Blend Your Learning, and we did it for about 3 years. And what we basically realized was that, to provide access to high quality, effective training, with the way the world has gone, with access to technology, access to the internet, right? There are ways around it that is not the traditional way of, putting a bunch of people in a room somewhere and having them go through whatever it is they go through. So we did that for 3 years, and post that, we basically looked at the trend line of what's happening with solar. And the other, like, if you go to the early days of the internet and the early days of e-commerce, right, you would see a similar trend line, right, where you see the adoption rising. But for solar, it's a different type of trend line. It's a trend line that's showing the cost going down a very steep slope, right? And so for us, it's indicative one, right, of the opportunities that's available in solar. I'll give an example. Daimler, which is like the parent company of Mercedes, by 2030, they want to have zero emission. 2030, it's what, 9 years away? Yeah. Right. So literally every country of the world, whether it's a Paris Agreement, every country of the world is moving towards a renewable energy source. And solar seems to be the energy source that's readily and deployable across a broad range of society, especially in our context, the African continent, where we have a lot of sunlight. So for us, we see that there's a massive opportunity that's going to keep growing. And what we want to ensure is that when the tipping point happens, that the required manpower, not just any type of manpower, but well-trained, very professional manpower, is available to help us get towards what we're trying to achieve.
So we talked about Daimler and across the world. I'm going to bring it back to Nigeria and what we're doing with Olon. I've been itching to ask this question. So on August 31st, we launched a partnership, Olon and Energy Talent Company. Tell us about what that scholarship program is about. What do we intend to do?
Yeah, definitely. So firstly, kudos to Olon. The work...
Yeah. Sorry, let me invite the team to clap for that. They're clapping, yeah. Well done, Olon.
The work they're doing in the renewable energy space, and more specifically solar, is outstanding, right? If you probably survey 10 organizations in the renewable energy sector, Olon has had like a significant impact, and beyond, funds and beyond finance, also like the technical competencies they bring and whatnot. So what we've done is Olon and Energy Talent Company, we've come together in a partnership where we're saying, we want to train X number of people, and we don't want to, and we want to, provide access to this training for folks who either live in the Niger Delta or are indigenous of the Niger Delta, right? So targeted and specific to this group of people. And what we're basically trying to do, right, is to ensure that this group of people gain access to this training, which we have designed, we've created, and, ensure that at the end of it, right, they can be placed and they can start working with solar companies, both in the Niger Delta and outside the Niger Delta, as indigenes of the Niger Delta.
Excellent. So even though there is a requirement that you have to be Niger Delta affiliated by birth, by living there, by working there, certainly work opportunities are anywhere. I like that. That's what I think is really unique about this program. It's not just training people, which we absolutely need, but there are lots of trained Nigerians who do all sorts of things, but employment is an issue. So tell us about how, what part of the program that I'm really excited about is the possibility of employment. So let's talk about that. How do Yeah,
definitely. So I would actually take us back a bit. So I recently saw a friend who put up something to say, Harvard was created, right, because folks needed to get preachers, right? And literally, you have a country that's drowning in certificates without any jobs. And for two reasons. One is there are not enough economic opportunities outright. But then the economic opportunities that are available, you don't have, professional, well-trained people who can then get into these economic opportunities. So what we're doing firstly is ensuring that it's not just the training, because everybody does, a lot of people rather do training, right? But can you verify, can you confirm, and can you, put your money where your mouth is and say, if you take this person, they're going to perform on the job. Right. So that's the first part. The second part is we ensure that there's people who get trained through us, right, that they are placed with some of our partners that are in different parts of Nigeria currently. So you're well trained, you're professional, and then you also get access to jobs at the end of the training.
Now, that's sounding very interesting, and I'm looking at asking the next question clearly. Who can apply, and you want to mention a bit more what the program offers. What are the specifics regarding what the program is offering, and who can apply? Because I'm sure people listening right now would like to know more about that.
Yeah. So what we say is, so firstly, in terms of the career part, maybe I'll take it from there and then work my way back. In terms of the career part, we're training folks in solar installation, design, operations and maintenance, and customer service.
Okay.
Right. Now, within solar, the wrong conception about solar is that it's just people standing on the roof and putting stuff. No, you have HR, health and safety officers.
Okay.
You have business development associates and a bunch of things. But for us, we're focused on solar installation, design, operations and maintenance, and customer service. Now, who we're looking for are folks who have finished some form of higher education. It could be a polytechnic, it could be a university, right? Or you have some basic electricity experience, right? Now, you're going to go through a rigorous selection process, right? So if you have, either electricity experience for the core technical part, or you finish some form of higher education, right?
Okay.
You can apply as long as you're an indigene of the Niger Delta, or you live in the Niger Delta.
Okay.
And post that, once you're trained, you'll be placed in either of the career part, depending on how you perform.
Right.
Talk about the financial commitment. Let's go over that again.
Yeah.
So it is a, it
It's
we
a
cover
scholarship.
most. It is a scholarship, but there is a financial commitment.
Yeah. So the reason for that is people only take serious what they pay for and what costs them something. So what we've done is there's an initial really 5,000 naira commitment fee, right, where you get into the first phase of the program. Now, if you scale through the first phase of the program, then you get into the second phase of the program, and there are two options there. You're then required to pay a 30,000 naira fee. But you don't have to pay that if you don't have it. What we do is when we place you, you can pay that over the course of about 2 months, right, from your salaries.
Okay.
So you don't have to pay that upfront. But the first fee of 5,000 naira, you have to pay that before you get into the program.
Wow, that's very beautiful. More or less like, just bring 5K, get training, get a job. And then, from the job, you get to pay for what you've learned already. That's really beautiful. All on, well done indeed. And well done to a good friend from the Energy Talent Company. Well, we are having a conversation today on Power Solutions. For those who are just joining us, Power Solutions is brought to you by Nigeria Info in partnership with All On again. And we do have a guest, Ugochukwu Chukwujiaka. He is the founder and CEO of Energy Talent Company. And I have as my co-host today, as you already know, Adaobi Oniwinde. She is Policy and Partnerships Manager for All On. We are talking about, the solar and the future of work. So far, so good. Interesting talk about the scholarship. Interesting talk about the program which was launched on August 31.
31st.
And specifically for those who are from the Niger Delta or reside there or actually from there, right? Really lovely stuff that you've said thus far. Now, the dear listener, you can always be a part of this broadcast. You know how to do that. But let's get back to, you've talked about the financial commitment. You've talked about all that. You've talked about the courses and everything. So what is the career option available for students after successful completion of this program? Or is there guaranteed placement? Of course, you talked about that also, but you want to emphasize on that a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. So like I said, there's mobility within the solar industry, but specifically for this program, what we're training people for is solar installation, operations and maintenance, solar design, and then customer service, right? And these are the job spaces within solar that we know there's a high demand for across some of our partners. So essentially, what we do is once you're trained, we work with you to get placed, right, within a fixed period of time. right? And again, it's all about your commitment. You know,
Okay.
we bring in our commitment, you bring in your commitment, and together we achieve the end goal of which is getting trained and getting placed in a job.
So before we talked earlier about how stringent the program has to be, and while we're offering this scholarship, you do want to make sure you have the right kind of people who are able to be placed in jobs. Can you share a story about maybe somebody who was placed in a job, and you know, maybe a testimonial, or just share an example of the sorts of people you've placed in jobs, and maybe an example of a great story?
Yeah, definitely. So first thing to know is, you know, in terms of the selection, and the selection is basically automatic, right? We basically take about 1% of people currently who apply. So know that it's a very, very rigorous process. And what that then means is, you know, firstly, we take people who are very committed and who want to build a career. And what we've seen happen is, so I'll give a quick story. What we've seen happen is, we literally had someone who was going through, which is part of the training program, apprenticeship aspect of the program. And one of our partner companies, they've been having the same challenge across their multiple sites, and they had vendors from wherever they got the vendor from who had not been able to solve that problem. And an apprentice, right, who's been trained by us, literally goes in there, diagnoses the problem, and solves it.
Wow.
Right. So this is like, you have engineers from wherever they got those engineers from who looked at the same problem over and over again and could not solve it. And then an apprentice goes there, looks at the problem, solves it, and they take that apprentice across multiple sites in the south actually.
All right. Well, for someone who's listening right now, how can an interested participant apply for this program? Where is the training taking place? I mean, give us more information about that.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a blended training. What that basically means is part of it happens online, the other part happens in person. In terms of the in-person training, it happens in Lagos, Abuja, Asaba, and Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Right. So depending on your proximity to either of this region, you'll be put there.
Yes, I mean, who can apply? Who can apply?
Yeah. So where they can apply, if you go to
where they can apply.
Where? How? Where?
How?
Yeah. So if you go to program.energytalentco.com, you would see the application link there. And if that's too hard to remember, just go to energytalentco.com, and you'll see a link that takes you to the application website where you can apply as well.
Or get in touch with Collins, and we can
Absolutely.
give you that information.
Or follow All On
All
on
On.
social
Absolutely.
media, and it's All On, and I'll get that correctly shortly, and you can send us or do us a DM, right? Do a DM Collins_Teke, or even do a DM directly to a gentleman. How can they find you on social media if there's need to get across?
So just go to energytalent_co on Instagram, or you can check Energy Talent Company on LinkedIn, and all of the information you require will be there.
All right. Great. And it's All On Energy, right? All On Energy on Instagram. Yes, All On Energy. You can send a DM to All On Energy, or you can tag me like you guys have been doing from time to time, Collins_Teke on social media. But V Oniwinde also, of course, is on social media. She's
All On is fine.
All On is good. Great. Fantastic. So for those who are just joining us, you're listening to Power Solutions on Nigeria's #1 for talk, 99.3, well, Nigeria Info. And then this broadcast, of course, is talking about the future, solar and the future of works right here. And our good friend has, broken down the entire process and how you can be a part of a recently launched program for energy talents, as it were, brought to you in partnership with All On. If you are interested in being a part, I'm going to let him mention that the address again, whether the website where they can apply, and also how they can find you on social media. Would you?
Yeah, definitely. So you can go to program.energytalentco.com. So that's the main website for this program, but you can also go to our main website, which is energytalentco.com, and you'll find the link to this specific scholarship program. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at energytalent_co.
Okay.
Or you can go on LinkedIn and check Energy Talent Company, and you'll find us.
Beautiful, beautiful indeed.
Quick one question. We've talked a lot about the program, how you can join interested parties, but some people would be interested to know, so what kind of career options are available for students who pass through this program? So we talked about solar specifically, but what else?
So within solar, right, there are multiple career parts. So there's the health and safety officer, right? There's a solar installer. There's the customer service personnel. There's a business development associate. So there are a range of career paths that you can take. Now, depending on your educational background, if you have like a STEM background or you do not. So if you do not have a STEM background, then you're probably tilting towards customer service and business development associate. If you do have a STEM background and you want to follow the core technical parts, which is solar installation, solar design, solar operations and maintenance, those are additional career parts that are accessible.
Is there an age limit to the kind of people you train, or are you specifically looking out for young people? Because I've heard people like, no, we don't have business with those already, from the mind, but we just want young people. But let's say there's someone out there who probably has its interests. Perhaps, how Africa is, situation did not allow them to go to school and learn these things, but they have this burning desire to still play in this space. Are there opportunities for individuals of that nature?
Yeah, definitely. So if you have an electrical background and you basically, the way we say it is, you know how to use Facebook, right? You know how to read, you know how to write, you know how to use technology. You can also apply. If you're able to scale through the rigorous selection process, we try not to discriminate. But we also only take folks who are between the ages of 18 and 30. Right? And this is especially for the core technical part that's a lot more rigorous, requires a bit of more travel. We take just folks who are between the ages of 18 to 30. Now, if you're above that age, you can send us a mail at info@energytalentco.com. This program is not for you, but there might be some other thing for you.
All right, info at
energytalentco.com. All
right, info@energytalentco.com.
Yeah.
That's straightforward, easy. Well, our time is fast spent, and I think at this point now, we'll be taking us home. Let's see if we can give a listener an opportunity to call or ask a question. If you're listening to us, you can either call us now quickly before we wrap it all up on the Power Solutions conversation today. 0700 993 993 993. 0700 993 993 993. That's the number to call as we move on.
Ugochukwu, one more time, the address for the registration.
So program.energytalentco.com or go to energytalentco.com. And if you can't remember any of that, just send us an email at info@energytalentco.com.
Excellent.
All right, there you have it, man.
Teke, I need a plug. Is this the time to do it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, this is Olon's show, so I'd like to plug something that we're doing on Monday, the 27th of September at 10 a.m. as part of the Olon Hub and Nigeria Climate Innovation Center 2021 Ideation Partnership, another thing that Olon does. 20 clean energy ventures will pitch their innovative ideas to a panel of judges for a chance to win a $10,000 grant.
Yeah, and I'll be here to announce the winners. I can't wait for that. So you want to say that again? This is really massive. So on the 27th.
Monday, 27th of September, 10 a.m., there will be a pitch party, as it were. And we have 20 clean energy ventures who will pitch their ideas to a panel of judges for a chance to win $10,000. And this is to go towards very innovative concepts that we believe can contribute to closing the country's access to energy gap.
That is beautiful. For those who are wondering, $10,000 is not small money, guys.
No,
if you go by the current rate right now, it's about 5.5 million naira. So think about that. Think about that for a second. That's a big deal for you to take advantage of.
So I didn't have that written down, but to take place in person and online, check out the social media pages. Either Olon at Olon Energy. And Nigeria ACIC. So at Olon Energy and at Nigeria CIC for more details.
All right. I mean, Olon Energy on social media, Nigeria CIC for more details, guys. You heard it. Please don't say you didn't hear it. We promised, we have delivered. Another episode of Power Solutions. So we must say a big thank you to our guest today. To start with him, a good friend, Ugochukwu, who is always here to talk to us, and finally meeting him in person here. Ugochukwu Chukwujiaka, he is the founder and CEO of Energy Talent Company. He's talked a lot about that amazing program ongoing. And of course, to say a big thank you, of course, to my co-host today, the Oniwinde, Adaobi Oniwinde, Policy and Partnerships Manager of All Honor. Thank you for that vital information you just shared.
I had to. Thank you. Always a pleasure hosting this with you.
Yes.
Thank you, Ugochukwu.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Teke.
Great. That's it. My name is Collins Teke. Bye for now, and enjoy the rest of lovely programming on this radio station.